Confession, I'm a faker. Last week's short showed me on a peg leg, running on a treadmill. Except I wasn't actually running. What else did I fake in that video? Today, let's play a game called Possible or Impossible Peg Leg Pirate Gym Edition. You get 1 point for each correct answer. I dare you to get a perfect score. Category 1, Treadmill. Possible or impossible? Well, that's a gimme, since I already told you I faked the running. When I filmed this segment, I wasn't actually trying to trick anyone. I was trying to make a joke but failed. You see, I thought it'd be funny if people saw feet running, so the viewer would have a moment of incredulity like,
"Wow, is she really running on the peg leg?"
Then in the next shot, you'd see that I'm supporting myself with my arms and just wiggling my legs in a running-like motion, which is an objectively silly thing to do. Except it didn't come across that way. People seem to have taken it seriously. I think the shot was just too short for everyone to register what was going on, so it gave the impression that I was actually running. In this video, I discussed why walking on a peg leg is tricky. One issue is that when you bend your knee, it pushes the peg out from under you because there's no foot on the front to stop the motion. The workaround is to keep your knees straight when you walk. Running on a straight leg doesn't work so well. I highly doubt that it's physically possible to do a legit run on my peg leg. I think I'd make it precisely 1 step before it'd slip out from under me and I'd go splat. The biomechanics just aren't in my favor, so I'm rating this impossible. Next category, exercise bike. Possible or impossible? More than possible. I was blown away with how easy this was on my peg leg. Without a toe cage, it'd be a no-go, but with the toe cage, it was awesome. This video isn't sped up. I was able to pedal speedy quick and no limbs went flying. I've tried pedaling on the very same bike with my regular prosthesis, but gave up. My prosthetic leg has many layers, which keeps my leg on but inhibits range of motion. If I can't bend my knee enough, I can't pedal. The socket for the peg leg and my regular prosthesis were made from the same mold. Theoretically, they're identical, so why did one work but not the other? My theory is that because the peg leg dropped down into the cage rather than sitting on the pedal, it changed the angle. But honestly, your guess is as good as mine. All I know is that if I want to work out on that bike, I need my peg leg. Which is a sentence I never dreamed I'd ever say. Next up, toe touch. This is an easy one, but humor me. Was it possible or impossible? Impossible, not because I was faking anything, but because you can't touch toes that aren't there. The elliptical. Possible, but hazardous. When I stepped foot, singular, on the elliptical, I was surprised by how easy it was. I thought this would be a hard one. Instead, I found myself gliding along with the ease of a two-legger until my peg leg slipped out from under me. That's the problem with the peg leg elliptical combo. It's easy until it isn't. After that first slip, I really focused, paying attention on whether my peg leg was slipping or not, but it still got me. It didn't look like it was sliding, and I couldn't feel anything down there. Peg legs have no nerves, so it did take me by surprise. It was dangerous how the elliptical lulled me into a sense of false confidence, only to send me tumbling into the spinning jaws of death. Making pirate videos isn't about being authentic. I'm not really a pirate. It's about being silly and telling a story. So like any filmmaker, I'll problem solve to get the shot I need. Rephrased, pirate videos are not documentaries. They're fiction. So I'm okay with pushing the bounds of reality, especially if I follow it up with some full disclosure, like I am right now. So no amputee goes away feeling discouraged because they can't run on a treadmill or use the elliptical with a peg leg. I'm sure that's a common problem. I did get usable footage from my first few seconds before I slipped. After that, I held on to some stationary handles on the machine. That way, if my leg slid out, which it did, my arms would support me, just like with the treadmill. So while the elliptical wasn't fake, it also wasn't safe. And I definitely would not recommend it on a peg leg, in case any of you pirates out there are wondering. Rowing. pirates row boats, so it's no surprise that pirates also love rowing at the gym. The one caveat is that a peg leg is less stable than a foot, so it felt more wobbly than I would have on my regular prosthetic leg. On the upside, I wasn't particularly worried about losing life or limb if my peg slid off the foot plate. Being seated definitely lowers the risk. Hamstring curls. This was sort of fake, sort of not. I mean, it's possible to do a hamstring curl with or without a prosthesis, since you don't need the foot. But my hamstrings are so much weaker on my amputated side that it can hardly do the curls. I had to dial down the resistance to almost nothing in order to get the shot, which is why I say it was sort of fake. The hard part was getting my strong leg to go at about the same pace as my weak leg. If I'm not focusing, my strong leg will kick the leg rest hard enough that it flies up and whacks me in the bum. Meanwhile, Stumpy's struggling to move the thing at all. Doing bilateral exercises when you're lopsided is hard. Making it seem like both legs were working at a similar pace was fake, but the exercise itself is legit. I do it at physical therapy all the time. I've even done it with a shark. Abductor-adductor machine. Because this exercise is non-weight bearing, it's possible whether I use my regular leg, a peg leg, or a shark. Bruce loves working out. The stair stepper. This exercise was easy. The angle of the foot plates made it so my peg leg wasn't as prone to slipping off, but even if it had slid, I was sitting down, so no biggie. Speaking of which, you might be wondering how I did all this when a couple weeks ago, I was depressed about some injuries. Social media can warp our perspectives. You can't always tell when a video was filmed. The order videos are published in isn't necessarily the order they were filmed in. Plus, there's often a delay between when things are filmed and when they're edited and published. Though other times, there isn't much delay, so the timeline gets skewed. For the record, it's been about a month since I got hurt. I'm still sore, but I was able to do the exercises in the pirate video just long enough to get the clips I needed, even though I couldn't have done a full workout. Most of the exercises were sitting down, which honestly is what made it possible. The ones where I was standing, which is only a couple, I was using my arms to take weight off my legs. On social media, it's common to see highlight reels. Keep in mind, you don't know how many takes it took for that random TikTok creator or Instagram person to get that shot. You also don't know what was done with editing or photoshopping, like how I sped up footage on the treadmill just a bit to make it fit to the tempo of the music better. That's why I urge you not to compare yourself to people online. It's hard to know what's real even when they're not trying to trick you. I wasn't trying to be fake when I made the pirate video, hence today I'm striving to correct any misconceptions. I try to be honest with you in my videos. Offhand, I'd say I have two modes, silly and sincere. When I'm talking with you like I am now, I'm trying my best to be authentic and upfront with the facts. But if I'm talking to a sock puppet or running around on a peg leg, take it with a grain of salt. I try to be obvious about which mode I'm in, but if you're ever unsure, feel free to ask in the comments. Anyhow, if you've been keeping score, tell me in the comments what you got, and I guess I'll accept either answer for the toe touches. In a poll on my community page, most of you were spot on in thinking that the treadmill was the hardest exercise of the lot. Hamstring curls were probably second hardest. I hope today's video was insightful, whether you are a pirate considering a gym membership, or you are a viewer contemplating the nuanced nature of social media. Either way, I'm Stephanina, and thank you for joining me on my amputee adventures. If you'd like to learn more about peg legs, I have some educational long-form content. Or if you're in the mood for some silly videos, here are some piratey shorts. Enjoy!